Hello again, everybody. This is Comic Book Hangover with a late edition of my weekly haul, weekly review videos. Now, this week I do have my usual talking about books from last week, a small haul from this week, but I also have a bit of a mail call, as well as I picked up a back issue from my LCS this week, one that I've always kind of wanted. They had it down there. It was $10. Boom, I had to grab it. So I'll share that with you in a moment. But before I go any further, a couple things I want to say first. Number one, and this is sincere, I have almost 125 subscribers on my channel now. It's the most subscribers I've ever had, and hopefully it continues to grow. Hopefully my channel continues to grow. So for you new subscribers here, thank you very much for subscribing. Thank you very much for giving my channel, my videos, and me a chance to, talk about comic books with you. Now here, if this is your first time watching, what I do is I talk about a handful of the books that I got the previous week, and then I share the books that I picked up this week, and, talk about whatever comes to mind at the time. This is a largely unscripted video series. So, but before I go into any of that, any of the new comic books and all that sort of stuff. Again, I wanted to thank my new subscribers. Hope you enjoy what I do. I also need to make a correction on my CodyCon video that I did last week. Now, I had a huge stack of books that I was able to finally pick up from CodyCon 2021. A good friend, Cody Lockwood. One of them was this. This is the Secret 7. This is the Rad Raptor exclusive variants. Now, I had mistakenly said that Rad Raptor was located in like Grand Rapids or Battle Creek or something. It is actually located in ADRIAN, Michigan. So I was quickly corrected on that, and I appreciate the correction. It was necessary. It needed to be done. So I want to say here, I'm very sorry about mislocating the store. I'm going to put the link to their website in the description down below, so you guys can check out what they have. It's an amazing store. I've seen a video, I've seen pictures of there. Cody Lockwood goes there quite often. So this is actually from Rad Raptor Comics in ADRIAN, Michigan. Not Battle Creek, not Ann Arbor, not Lansing, ADRIAN, Michigan. Link in the description down below. Now, that aside, let's talk about the books that I picked up last week in no particular order. Peach Momoko's Marvel book, Demon Days, X-Men. Now, this is a 5-issue miniseries. They're calling them books, like book 1, book 2, blah, blah, blah. And it is written and drawn by Peach Momoko, who I really do enjoy her art. And she is basically, from the impression I have on this first issue here, what she is doing is she is taking the Marvel Universe and looking at it through the lens of her culture. So we have different, never before seen variations of characters that we're familiar with in this series. It is entertaining. I'm not an X-Men fan, but this was very entertaining. It's good to be able to read something that doesn't really have continuity behind it, but it still respects the basic tenets of the characters that we know. It isn't erasing or anything like that. And yes, that does end up being a version of Venom in the story, which hopefully we don't get any more of that, because I'm honestly tired of Venom. I'm so burnt out on the character. But this was a good read. If you're a Peach Momoko fan, I definitely recommend it. If you are an X-Men fan, you may enjoy it as well. So I do recommend that one. The next one we're going to talk about is Batman number 106, the first of the Infinite Frontier imprint or campaign or whatever it is we're doing. First, I want to say I don't like that Infinite Frontier thing on the cover. I think it's kind of tacky. I'm glad it's really small, but I'm not really a fan of it. The cover is amazing. I love the cover for this one. Even the variant cover that I picked up last week was really cool. This does have a new interpretation of Scarecrow, who is legitimately scary. It's like, it's sort of like looking at Scarecrow through the lens of Silent Hill or Hellraiser. He's finally a very scary looking character, and I do appreciate that. So it's a good read. It's nice to have Batman back. I really enjoy having the character back. However, they did increase the price by $1 to $4.99, and they did that because they tossed in a backup story, which gives us more pages for the book. But the backup story, which is about Robin going back to his mother and the shadow thieves or whatever it is, it's almost like I'm being charged for something I'm never going to enjoy. I'm glad that the main story is really well done, and the art is amazing, the writing is great, the covers are awesome. I'm glad for that, because honestly, that extra $1, it's not worth it. The story has nothing to do with the backup story. The Robin backup story has nothing to do with the main story, and we don't even get the full story here. It continues in Detective Comics number 1034 or something like that. So in order to get the rest of the series, the rest of the story, I have to buy a book that I don't read on a regular basis. That honestly disgusts me. I hate that DC has decided to do this. They're charging me $1 for additional pages that I'm not going to read. I'm not reading the backup stories anymore. And as soon as this story falters, as soon as the main story falters, I'm dropping it, because quite honestly, it's not worth it. This should be, $4 is too much, but charging $5 for this book and for content that I'm not going to read or enjoy, just to me seems like a waste. It seems like a waste of $1. Now, if the backup story had anything to do with the main story, that would be great. Or even if it doesn't have to directly intersect with the main story, but if it referenced the main story, if it built on it somehow, I would be okay with that. But that Robin story has nothing to do with the Scarecrow story or any of the other new characters that we're introduced to. And there was a big deal about the first appearance of another new character, but honestly, it's a more of a cameo. It's a blink and you miss a cameo. It's kind of pointless altogether. But the backup story is not worth it. DC, I doubt you're ever going to watch this, or anybody who's working with DC, but I'm going to tell you right now, this backup story nonsense and charging an extra $1 for it, it's unnecessary, it's unwanted, it's a waste of paper, and it's a waste of money. If you want to do something like that, make the backup story relevant to the main story. Otherwise, collect these and do a series of one-shots, or introduce another Batman series. I know there's another Batman Urban Legends started this past week. Do something like that. Just charge an extra $1 for it is really pointless. What isn't pointless, though, Images Noctera #1. Now, this takes place on an Earth that there's really not a lot of explanation for it, but it takes place on a version of Earth where the sun and the stars, everything gets blacked out. And the trouble gets worse from there. As the story explains, as the first issue progresses, we find out that anything or anyone that has been out in this darkness for any period of time begins to be infected by the darkness, I guess you could say, and begins to mutate. And the mutations get worse when, as this whole thing progresses for years and years, we have mutated versions of creatures and animals and plants that we know crossbreeding or cross-pollinating with other mutated species, giving us absolute nightmare characters, nightmare creatures. And you've got this main character here. She drives this souped-up semi-truck covered with lights, because light is sort of a poison, if you will, to these creatures. If there's bright enough light, it kills them, it drives them away. So she transports people from point A to point B for a price. And in this one here, she's transporting somebody who claims to be at fault for what happened on Earth, but it's I can't remember if it's a mini-series or an ongoing series, but it's definitely worth checking out. I think the first couple of issues for sure will be interesting and will be worth checking out. So I'm going to give it to like issue 3 or 4 and see where it's at from there. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. So moving on, those were the books that I wanted to talk about last week. Some really, I do recommend Nocterra #1. That's a very good, very entertaining read. This right here is the back issue that I picked up from my LCS. This was $10, really good condition. This is Dark Horse Presents number 36. I have always loved this cover and have always wanted to have this cover in my collection, and now I finally do. Now, there's a previous issue of this series that has an alien queen on it, one that at one time was mistakenly referred to as the first appearance of the xenomorphs in comic books. I want to get that one, but this, I really like this cover. I've always wanted this one. I've always kind of enjoyed the Alien versus Predator thing, and so now I have it. So that's cool to have another back issue. So now here we go with the books that I picked up this week. Nice handful. Now, originally I only had like 2 or 3, in my folder at my LCS. A lot of the other ones are ones that I'm either checking out or sort of, peripheral comic books or indie comic books that I'm really kind of enjoying. I just haven't officially added them to my pull list. But first, we're going to talk about, I want to share, third print, Amazing Spider-Man number 55. I don't know why I'm getting these. I'm a sucker for it, but why not? I have the first, second, and now third print, so there's that. Next up, Mighty Morphin number 5 with a really sweet cover. I mean, all these covers have been really awesome, but this one, probably so far of this series, this specific one, Mighty Morphin, this is my favorite cover for this series. Can't wait to jump into that one. Second issue of Deep Beyond. I got the America Andolfo cover. I figured since, it's her series, I want to get her covers. Fourth issue of Knock 'em Dead. This is from Aftershock Comics. This has been a very entertaining series. I think it might only be a 5 issue. I got online and was doing a search for, upcoming issues. I found issue 5, but I can't find issue 6 listed anywhere. So I'm thinking this might be a 5 issue miniseries, but that's another really sweet cover. Joker number 1. I got the Matina cover. I do still like the imagery of Punchline, even though her origin was completely, in my opinion, her origin was completely botched by DC with the way they did it with all the social media and the protesting, all that unnecessary nonsense. But I like this cover, and I'm looking forward to reading that one. And finally, this is, figured why not? It's got a naked butt on the cover, so why not add to the collection? Carmen number 1. This is another image book. I'm getting a lot of image books lately. I don't think I've ever gotten so many image books for so long, but grab that one as well. And now, before we wrap this up, my mail call. This is from Nate Made It. He did this as well as this. So he did these 2 Power Ranger prints that I proudly own. I got these through the Comic Tom 101 mystery mail call. And he did the other Power Rangers in the sort of, I don't know what you would call this format here, but he did the other Power Rangers and offered them on his through his Instagram. He offered them. He talked about it on his Instagram. It's how I found out about it, but it's also on his website. So I got the full set here. So this is my first time looking at these. All right, I kept this box closed because I wanted to see it for the first time. So I'm getting everything out of here right now just to see what's in there. They were wonderfully packed in a Gemini case. First thing we have here is a certificate of authenticity, original print art from Nate Johnson. That is awesome. And there is a little preview on the back, but I won't show that because we're going to jump right into what they actually look like. So we're going to go from the bottom of the stack to the top of the stack. So you've got Red Ranger. That is amazing. I think these are all going to be amazing. I mean, this actually looks much better than it did on his Instagram account. These things look so much better in person than they did online. Then we've got the Yellow Ranger. I like that one a lot. Haha, the Black Ranger. That's really sharp. That is epic. And the Blue Ranger. Now these I'm going to be putting up. They're not actually. I'm going to be taking Zed and the White Ranger out of my room. These are actually going to go out. I'm going to try to put them in the in our stairwell, and that way when we're going up and down the stairs, we'll see the Power Rangers on the wall. That's how it should be. 2 more to go. We got Pink Ranger. I guess in the mystery mail call, when I got the Zed one, there was another Pink Ranger one that was a different pose. So this is not the same one that was in the mystery mail call, but that's fine. I'm okay with that. And last and certainly not least, Green Ranger. So these are amazing. I'm glad to actually have the whole set. Got a certificate of authenticity as well. It's amazing. So I want to put a link to his, to Nate Made It, his Instagram, either his Instagram or his website. I might just do his website. That might be easier. He's a really an amazing artist. He's also, the Spider-Man thing here that they did the 3rd print for. He did a version of that was Spider-Ham that I would love to get my hands on. I'm a big fan of Spider-Ham as well, and I would love to get that, the webbing style done with Spider-Ham. I'm hoping that he'll offer even if it's a different color than what he did through the Mystery Mail color or whatever. I don't care. I want to get it, and I'm hoping that he will offer that. So, but that's it. That's what I got to share with everybody this week. Thank you for watching. And again, my new subscribers, thank you so much for subscribing. And feel free to like my video, comment down below. I'm always open for suggestions on what you'd like to do. I know last week I shared a couple of books from my back issue collection, I guess you could say. I got enough to talk about this week that I didn't do that. I may pick that up next week. I'm not sure. Everything is still kind of in flux with my job situation. So thanks again for watching. I hope everybody had a great week. We had some amazing weather here in Michigan. So hopefully everybody has been able to get outside a little bit, get some fresh air, get some sun, some of that lovely vitamin D that we all need to be happy. And I will see everybody next week with another video and hopefully news about a job. I mean, I don't know. I got my ears to the ground. I got some feelers out. So we might have some news, which may or may not impact when and how I'm going to do my videos. But again, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. I love having new people on board and talking about comic books with new people. And actually, anybody who subscribes, I do check out. If you have a YouTube channel, I will check it out. And if you're subscribed to me, I'll happily return the favor and subscribe back. So hopefully that's an incentive for some of you. But I will see everybody next week. Thanks for watching. Have a good weekend. Have a good beginning of the week. And yeah, we'll see you guys next Wednesday. Have a good one. Bye.